The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine.
Yeah, so that I'm a fan of that speech. If you don't know, I'll link the entirety of the little blurb. This thing is only like a little under 3 minutes. It's a little under 3 minutes, but that is how I'm gonna start every episode from now on. I'm happy, excited to use that reference for this series. And then I also have this little meme right here that I saw and I opened up Instagram this morning. It's the first thing that popped up, which I'm slightly grateful for. I think it's kind of cute because yeah, dude, fuck the government, or fuck the the whole notion of this group of people that are just stealing my money from me, and I can't do anything about it because everyone else is just like, yeah, this is a good idea, or like, we've never thought to like, or how do we, all these like threads. But why I'm starting with that and the topic, the title, the thumbnail, whatever they may be, because I don't actually know right now, related around the Freemasonry and why is because if you don't know, the Illuminati is not the only secret society that exists and that influences our world, being obviously Freemasonry is a pretty big one. And let's just roll the first clip now that I've made this introduction way too long.
Why do you think, I mean, when you look at the history of people that when they, became presidents, Freemasons, George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Monroe, LBJ, FDR, Buchanan, Garfield, Teddy Roosevelt, Taft, Harding, Ford, even the honorary, you got Reagan, even Clinton when he was a kid, he was part of a Freemason, a certain program. Right, he was part of that. Why do you think so many presidents we can go Gerald Ford, what was the advantage that they had? What did they teach you there that helps you become a president?
I would say that I will also mention LBJ never went past the apprentice degree.
Okay.
He never made it to master.
Who was the highest ranking out of all of these presidents, by the way? Who made it to 33?
That's a good question. I did know that once upon a time, and I don't remember the names right offhand. But yeah, I think if you count up, I think there were, it's controversial whether Jefferson was. I think he probably was. I think he was initiated under the Grand Lodge of France when he was in France. But then the French Revolution came along, and all the records were destroyed. So there's no proof that he was a Freemason. However, I've read a lot of Jefferson's work, and there are certain very idiosyncratic, I'll say, turns of speech and things that are in the ceremonies that are recognizable to other Freemasons. And some of those have showed up in some of his writings that I've read, which leads me to suspect that he was an initiate in the craft. But there were, by my counts, there were about 14 presidents who were Freemasons, and the last one who was a full, Master Mason was Gerald Ford.
Really, Gerald Ford was a Master Mason. Interesting.
Yes, let's see. He was
33rd degree. Yes.
Yeah, there he is. He was. There's nobody after Ford, is there? Is there anybody showing?
No.
No. Yeah,
it's just honorary. Reagan was an honorary. But what is the advantage? What is the edge that you get when you're in it?
So, thank you, Paul and Randall Carlson. I referenced and talked about him in this episode of Iris on the Eye previously. And then I was, I had gone on a whole tangent prior to the playing this clip in the part that I recorded, but edited it out, and I just needed to let the clip speak for itself, because I was going to talk about everything, but then like the clip, everything that I had talked about kind of made the clip superfluous. So now that I've done it the right way, or better, showed not telled, I want to talk about some of the symbolism being like the.
Is that a gang sign? Have you?
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
The next couple clips that I got from this like 4-hour documentary that I haven't even finished watching, but I had enough good information in it that I'm going to talk about it. It's all about these secret, weird handshakes, these like things of like, it's called a hidden hand, or they like put their hand inside their coat pocket and like hide it, and like these weird like references to shit that like if you're not initiated into them, you are literally the vulgar or profane or the Walking Dead in their opinion, in these like the upper echelons. And so symbolism, Illuminati is not, the Illuminati isn't the only one using the all-seeing eye. The Egyptian pyramid with the capstone removed, that's also a Freemasonic symbol, which the next clip, I don't think I didn't include it, but I included the information from part of it. Here is that thing, the reference to it, if you want to like look or try to find it, or also in the description is a link to the full 4-hour length thing if you want to watch that. I'm going to finish watching it today or this coming week, and maybe hopefully clip and talk about it more in the future. And there's also a more, I don't want to say digestible, but easier, or it's not even like more well balanced, in my opinion. I think it's more of just like, because it's coming from a more mainstream perspective, this like, it's like sort of like History Channel-esque, I think, that, and I'm not gonna clip anything because I don't want to get any copyright strikes or anything weird on my channel, but that like they try to be more grounded or balanced in their takes, and not be so like, oh, they control everything, because it's like the people who are making that, in my opinion, are related to somebody, or are under the fucking like they got him in a stranglehold. Like, you better not fucking reveal too much. You could talk about it a little bit, but only enough for us to be able to be like, well, we told you, because in this clip that like we cut it down and dumbed it down enough and watered it and diluted the actual potent truth that we were trying to tell you enough that like we could get away spiritually, energetically, through legalese. We said that we told you, but you were too vulgar, profane, or dumb, or stupid to like notice what we were trying to tell you. But to the point of the symbols, that it's one of these things that like through their levels of initiation, only whatever percentage at the top of these groups have a full understanding and picture, and the people at the bottom take the word for it that the shit at the top isn't as bad as that people like me, who are completely uninitiated but do the research and watch the videos. And I'm going to be reading all these books. I list you some of the books that I'm going to have to read to be more well informed on this. This is all coming from Manly P. Hall, which I won't say the thing that's about to be in the next clip, but that like the secret teachings of all ages, the lectures on ancient philosophy, the secret destiny of America, and the lost keys of Freemasonry. All of these books, and got some more on here, but they're from a different thing. But all this information exists. It is in the public domain, but no one, not even like the low-level Masons, go out of their way to like read it and research it, because like the clips will show, it gets dark and murky and spooky real quick, which is slightly ironic because that's the in the title of the half-hour like clip that I'm not gonna be referencing. But shit, I'm really not trying to make this like super duper long. Let's just roll the next clip, and hopefully I got everything in here that I needed to talk about, jumping from this clip to the next clip.
This is 33rd degree Freemason Manly Hall, who was named Freemason of the Century by the Scottish Rite Journal in 1990. And you'd be surprised how many Masons haven't heard of him, because they don't bother entering the Masonic library and searching out the mysteries themselves. These same Masons think they know something, and they parade themselves on websites and social media, calling people like me, oh, he's just an anti-Mason, anti-Mason. Blind fools at best, deceivers at worst. Well, the Freemason of the Century wrote in this book and in this chapter, Freemasonry is a fraternity within a fraternity, an outer organization, concealing an inner brotherhood of the elect, one visible and the other invisible. The visible society is a splendid camaraderie of free and accepted men and women, enjoined to devote themselves to ethical, educational, fraternal, patriotic, and humanitarian causes and concerns like hospitals and charities. But the invisible society is a secret and most august fraternity whose members are dedicated to the service of a mysterious arcanum arcanorum, meaning mystery of mysteries. Now I wonder what that could be. So once again, don't listen to the lost or deceptive Masons that'll come here trying to cheat you from the truth, telling you that I don't know what I'm talking about or calling me an anti-Mason. Because there you just heard it. There's a Masonry for the majority of Masons, and then there's the real thing, the secret religion, which should shock you when it's announced. These same lost or deceptive Masons also love to repeat, like parrots, that Freemasonry is not a religion. Well, what does the Freemason of the Century have to say about that? From this book, he writes, Masonry is essentially a religious order. Not just a little bit religious, but essential. And here, the iconic giant of Freemasonry says in Morals and Dogma, every Masonic lodge is a temple of religion, and its teachings are instructions in religion.
So this is just a short interrupt for some context, because this is from like half an hour, 35 minutes into the or 40 minutes, I can't remember exactly when I clipped this clip out of the 4-hour documentary, but he is talking about Albert Pike, because Albert Pike was I don't know, instrumental might be the right way of saying it. And Albert Pike is like this Civil War general and did all this weird back and forth. He was also like the lawyer that would like fight the government on behalf of the Native Americans. So it's like this weird kibosh of like, it didn't like black people, but respected Native Americans enough to like fight the government for them. Kind of a mindfuck if you ask me. But that like, yes, Albert Pike was this like figurehead, very influential Freemason who like basically, I don't know if he created the Scottish Rite, but he like did a shit ton of research back in the day when you had to like go to libraries and like buy books and be well read to actually understand anything in the world. Couldn't just watch a YouTube video. And that he so he's very important, very knowledgeable, and that's who wrote Morals and Dogma, so you have some context. And I will put a different podcast that I watched, and I'm not referencing specifically with clips in this video, in the description. I can't remember the YouTube channel off the top of my head right now. It's something about camping is the guy's like theme, but let's just keep it on here.
So please, sit down, Masons, because Freemasonry is a religion. And soon, I'm going to tell you what it's really called. Now look at this from the same book, and speaking about fellow Freemasons being initiated in the lodge room. Part of the symbols are displayed there to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. Their true explication is reserved for the princes of Freemasonry. The whole body of the royal art, which you'll know all about soon, was hidden so carefully in the higher degrees. So you see, the whole thing is built on lies. And the ultimate liar lives inside the triangle, above the pyramid, so that even the highest Masons are living a monstrous lie. Wake up, Masons. Even you are deceived, just as the public is. Unless, of course, you're hungry enough to want to acquire all the power and climb up that pyramid closer to the eye that sees all. In that case, close your mouth, go back to your lodge, and good luck to you. Or, of course, grow some kahunas and be honest. But then you can't, right? Because you'd be breaking your oath. Sad. Oh, it's good to be free, under the wing of the true master. Stick around if you're interested, and you'll get to see some wonder. When I pull that cloak called Freemasonry right off, and those that are still here watching will get to see the true colors of the nakedness and the horror of the Masonic Lodge, and the religion that rules them all. Another thing that Masons will repeatedly say is that this has nothing to do with Freemasonry, and it's just a conspiracy theory. Well, the 33rd degree Freemason of the century also wrote this book about 100 years ago, The Secret Destiny of America, and look at the front cover. And I'll tell you why America is so important for the ultimate goal of the secret society. It's disturbing, but it's also essential in understanding the near future and what's going to take place.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working with. And I don't want to say that he's wrong with that final point about the cover of the book and everything, but I mean, it's probably a modern day reprint, just to be like a little bit of like, hey, not everything everyone says is 100% true all the time. Probably the original print didn't have the symbol on it, I imagine, but maybe it did. Maybe it did. Blah, 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 blah. But specifically, to put it up here again, because I don't think I don't think it's going to be in the next clip that I'm reacting to, but that like it is a Freemason symbol, and how he said that there's a fraternity, there's like, it's the Russian nesting doll thing, that like in the center there's a tiny, very, very evil doll that's like ruining it for the rest of all the other dolls who are willfully oblivious to the outer layers and crusts of the chaos onion of these groups. That like there's that little capstone on top who think that they descended from fucking aliens, or like have this unbroken lineage. Oh, this was a point that I wanted to make earlier too, that like you can find this by a simple Google search. If you just Google the bloodlines of the presidents and like why are they all related, and how, if they're supposed to be on two sides of the aisle, if there is supposed to be this like red-blue paradigm, or a very Freemason symbol is the black and white thing, which you could check out this little part, this video that I made previously about, I think it was literally the last one that speaks about it, that it's this like astrozoological two sides, but really it's just like pull the layer back and it's just a gradient of gray, that all of the people who were descendants of the kings of old, who literally they trace their bloodlines, I'm pretty sure, all the way back to like Sumer, Atlantis, these fucking alien god people that like they're fucked up and evil, man, and they're only in the little tiny pyramid, and they dole out the truth enough to like seduce people up and up and up and up the pyramid until they get to like just before, and then like it's all just being useful rubes and stooges and idiots. The secular satanic or spiritual Satanism of self-preservation, only out for myself, and it's grimy, and I'm here to expose it and be like, yo, let's just like put the real light, the really like stop letting these people make these decisions. And I would love to see every government go away, and that, like, if we could get people learning a fucking, like, the universal natural law, or whatever you want to call it, of like, this is how you actually be a moral, upright person. And I don't know if redistributing wealth, or at least getting, like, rid of, like, the fake fiat, like, Freemason money. Like, I don't have it, the dollar bill on me, but, like, yeah, like, that shit, it's literally got their fucking, like, witchcraft symbol on it, dude. Like, why are we using their shit if they're the problem? Like, let's just stop going along and getting along with a system of control and authoritarianism and corruption that has been going on for way too long, probably since the beginning of human society, because these fucking weirdos have just been at the top pulling the strings for however long you want to, like, espouse that they've been doing it. But let's just get into the next clip, and hopefully this video is not going to be a half hour long. I pray.
But they're all under the oath of secrecy. Don't forget that, no matter who they are. Adele, Neil Finn, Chris Angel, or Scott Morrison. The oath comes first. And here it is. This is taken from an official Masonic publication, not intended for the public. This is Duncan's Ritual of Freemasonry. In brief, I, of my own free will and accord, do hereby promise and swear that I will never reveal any of the secrets, arts, parts, point, or points of the Master Mason's degree to any person or persons whomsoever. This I solemnly, sincerely promise and swear, under no less penalty than having my body severed in two, my bowels taken out and burnt to ashes, so no more remembrance be had of so vile and wicked a wretch as I, should I ever violate my Master Mason's obligation. So now you know what they think of me. I'm a vile and wicked wretch for breaking my oath. So how can anyone ever trust a Freemason when he speaks about Freemasonry, unless you're speaking to a rare breed like me? Never reveal any parts, not even a single point, to anyone. Here's another penalty from another degree, this time from Richardson's Monitor of Freemasonry, a legitimate Masonic publication for instructing and laying out the ritual. Binding myself under no less penalty than having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the roots, and my body buried in the rough sands of the sea. These are the penalties they swear to. And yes, the lodge has penal authority to execute. This is how they look when they're initiated. They have to remove all their clothing and jewelry, including wedding rings, crucifixes, the most meaningful things to them, no matter what. They have to go, because complete allegiance to the society is required. You're blindfolded at every initiation because you symbolize someone who lives in utter darkness before you receive the light of Freemasonry. And that light will become so obvious to you in a bit. The secret that is being unveiled by incremental degrees to the candidates in the lodge is staring us in the face in daily life. And that truth is pretty scary if all you know and all you have is this world. But they know much more than that. At one point, when the blindfold comes off, this is what you're surrounded by. Blokes dressed like this, holding swords to your face. And that's nothing compared to what comes later. So your own wife or daughter don't qualify for discussion in these matters, unless they too are initiated to the same level as you. So please don't tell me that your grandfather or your neighbor is a Freemason and that there's nothing wrong with Freemasonry. How would you know when they're under oath never to reveal anything to anyone? The whole successful system is constructed by the art of lying to the public and to their own members of lower degrees. And we trust these people. Now here are the illustrations for the signs and handshakes. And you only receive them after the oath has been taken. This is the sign you do upon entering and exiting the ritual room while facing the Grand Master. It stands for throat slit, and it goes like this. A continual reminder of where you are and what awaits you if you have a change of heart or rebellious spirit. And here you have the illustrations of the secret handshakes. Look familiar? And this is the sign of the master of the second veil. See? Purely Masonic. You don't pick this stuff up off the street. Now this is how it's generally executed in the public arena. Sneaky, sneaky, huh?
Survey says, yeah, definitely pretty fucking goddamn sneaky. Whew. So to try to wrap this up, there's the half-hour thing that you could like check out. Which again, it even in that half-hour stuff thing from History Channel, it doesn't really get into the origins because it's sort of just been lost to antiquity. Because when you realize that like the ongoing plan for like the manipulation of human society, if you accept that it's been going on for tens of thousands of years, yeah, of course, over time and with all of the crazy tragedies that have happened and catastrophes of like a pole shift and a giant fucking flood from a planet exploding like how many tens of thousands of years ago, that like, yeah, of course, documents are going to get lost and destroyed in revolutions and as societies go from A to B to C, but that like the bloodlines and the adepts, because this is a very important concept, that to truly be let in on this Sherlock Holmes details, or like being who, what, when, where, how, and why, or like plans of the scope and degree like 9/11, like you have to be either have so much blackmail on you, or be part of the bloodline and like emotionally and spiritually devastated by the quote-unquote the family, which this is the podcast I'm referencing for where that term comes from if you want to watch that one, because that guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he descends from one of the bloodlines of the family who may or may not be the Atlantean alien people, and that this other podcast here, this guy is a researcher. I don't think he was ever a Freemason, but he has this, there's like a very small clip in there that I wish I had cut it and paste, and maybe I still will. I don't think I'm gonna, but
one time at the end of the show, and I knew there was a lot up going on when I was going on it, but it was a really good show. And they said at the end, he says, well, what would you say if you were talking to a 32nd degree adept at this point in time? And I said, well, you're either not an adept because you're 32nd degree of the 33rd degree, or you're a pureblood. He says, well, how do you know that? I said, well, I think you're confirming it, and I've had it confirmed elsewhere as well, that you can't take I said, you're younger than 25, likely, is my understanding, and you would know more than me, and that you can't claim your adept title yet. And he was absolutely astounded that I knew this. And as I said, I did have it confirmed before that, but he really confirmed it. And then he actually, after the show, he says, we should do another show. But then he got absolutely obliterated by whoever he reports to. And he just sent me messages and all sorts of awful things that I cannot repeat, and was,
Wow.
and he would not publish the show after that. And he loved the show before.
Wow.
And wouldn't do the second show. So we need to understand how that sort of works. If they say they're 32nd degree, distinguish the difference. And so this would be a term that's used for a pureblood who is past adepthood before they're 18. They're way beyond 3rd degree or 33 degree, way beyond.
Pure blood meaning they were
Royale.
okay. So not just born into Freemasonry, but of a bloodline that signifies that they are of the necessary blood purity.
So
I felt very like poignant to the illustrate why being an adept is so important, and that you can either be an adept by climbing the ladder, which again, if you watch the spooky one, it'll show you that, and how there's so many different types of Freemasons that like it's wild, man. It's wild that like, of course, because there's so many different types, and there's only ever the people in the capstone at the top who have all of the truth, that like they're able to just like create a bunch of shell companies and play the shill game of just like constantly shuffling people around and creating new entities to hide and obfuscate what's going on in the capstone. Good grief, isn't it? It's just so goddamn convoluted and crazy. So we'll end with this last little thing. It's a quote from Prince Phillips, who, yes, is a Freemason. Yes. So if I were reincarnated, I would wish to be returned to Earth as a killer virus to lower the human population levels. Like, what the fuck, dude? Who says that shit other than somebody who's like in the know of like what the Rosicrucian, Knight Templar, Freemasonic, Illuminati, Atlantean alien bloodline crazy motherfuckers like want to do to us, because they're just pissed that they're stuck here with us and that like we are too intelligent or still too divinely connected to goodness, righteousness, that their evil and bad ways can't totally enslave us. They're just jealous, bro. They're just jealous haters, and like, we're fucking awesome. And I guess that's really everything I got for you. I'm just hoping that this will either interest you enough for you to take the time out of your day to read, research, and be informed, and tell other people, or like show them my stuff, and then like I can get together with people and create more amazing stuff to inform people and make it cool and sexy and fun, and hopefully a little not too scary, but it is kind of scary, because like they do their whole thing of like, if you tell or if you get too involved, we'll come after you. But like, if I gotta be the spearhead, I'm okay with dying for this cause of like spreading the truth and doing great things, like Bill Cooper, or what the fuck, who was that guy who did the whole thing with the CIA and crack in the 60s or 70s or 80s? Something Webb. Oh man, dude. Whoever that journalist was, I apologize, I can't even remember his fucking name, but he literally died for exposing that the CIA was funneling crack to sell drugs with Iran-Contra, of like sell weapons one place to fucking fund a war someplace else. Super fucking fucked up and not okay, but it got exposed because of that guy, and I might not know his name right now off the top of my head, but it's important to know these things so that like,
You can't keep getting away with it!
they can't, bro. They can't. Like, it's got to come to a point where they're either gonna get so like ready to leave that they're gonna just try to destroy us all one way or the other, and like, I'm not gonna let that happen. I want to raise children. I want there to be a great future for us, and I want the technology that they have so that like we can cure cancer, and like the solutions and the problems exist, but only if we stand up and stop letting them tyrannize and lord over us and treat us like slaves. I am not a slave. You are not a slave. If you are hearing this, you are the resistance. Join the Flowzone. Get in the Flowzone. Little fucking apologize for, but I gotta fucking like, I gotta come up, and then rising tides lift all ships. So like, get in here, subscribe, like, comment, let me know your thoughts and opinions about all of this wild ass shit we got going on in the world. And aloha, mahalo. I appreciate you taking the time and energy to watch. Hopefully this wasn't too long and too long-winded, and whoever gets some value out of it, just like, let me know. I gotta know. I need to know. I'm gonna keep going one way or the other, but it would help and make me feel a lot better to know that somebody or people are like watching it, loving it, interested, and like, we'll just fucking expose and overthrow the Illuminati together, baby. That's it, dude. See you in the next one. Thank you.
So open your third eye, let them AI
decide.